Hey, before I get started here, I want to promote a podcast that came in our studio here and filmed just a little while ago. It's called The Convocation Unscripted. It is hosted by Robert P. Jones, the president and founder of the Public Religion Research Institute, the author of The Hidden Roots of White Supremacy and a Path to a Shared American Future. Also, Kristen Dumais, the author of Jesus and John Wayne, Jamar Tisby, the author of the Spirit of Justice, and Diana Butler Bass, the author of Freeing Jesus, among other many other books. And listen, I believe it's my responsibility to promote people who are doing good work. I happen to be friendly with Robert P. Jones. Robbie is an unbelievable scholar and talent and empathetic human being who wants to change structurally American white Christianity from what it has become, which is white Christian nationalism, which is racism, which is white supremacist. And he wants to shine a light on what can be and what actually is based on his research and the past. So go check this out. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. I'll put a link below to a couple of episodes that you can watch with Robbie and Brittany Page and myself on our podcast, but also their podcast they filmed here. It's good work, and we need to celebrate people who are attempting to make our world a better place. Thank you. Let's talk about Donald Trump's latest nonsense on Newsmax yesterday. We've reached the portion of the campaign, the presidential campaign, where Donald Trump is just jettisoning rationality and reason to a level we've never seen before. Really, the likes of which we've never seen. It's not normal, even for Donald Trump's standard, the way he's acting. It's not even stretching the truth or telling a lie that's adjacent to some truth. It's just making shit up whole cloth. It is bizarre, and it's dangerous because now he's secured the cult to a level that they just believe anything he says. It's jeopardizing relief efforts in North Carolina and Georgia and these states that are impacted by Hurricane Helene, and it is very likely to also do the same for Hurricane Milton, that it's getting ready to make landfall. And he doesn't care. Donald Trump only wants power. He only wants power so he can exact his authoritarian wet dream upon America. That's kind of gross. But he also wants power so he can extricate himself from problems, from trouble, from legal issues that he faces. And only as president of the United States, especially the new presidency created by this fascist Supreme Court that allows Donald Trump to do anything he wants as long as he says it's official acts, up to and including assassinate political rivals he finds corrupt using the military. This was argued before the United States Supreme Court. So he went on Newsmax. This is quite the preamble. He went on Newsmax yesterday and said three things during three separate parts of the interview where he's just rambling free association nonsense. Like his brain is just absolutely failing him, which you would think would be a normal course of the day for Donald Trump. But he's making points he thinks are salient. He's making points he thinks are going to resonate with Americans, and it's just not rooted in anything based in reality. That even Republicans, they may say it, but in their heart of hearts, that's a phrase, I guess, in their true selves, they know what he's saying is dangerous, that it doesn't lead to good outcomes, that it doesn't present us with a path of prosperity, which he claims to be the only one to be able to provide. Here, I want you to listen to him talking about, we don't tax the rich. You don't tax the rich, he said to this Newsmax host, and then explains that they pay all the taxes, and we'll explain why that is true but stupid.
Blame always seems to go on her end to corporate price fixing and vilifying the corporations in this country, the companies in this country. When asked how she's going to pay for the agenda last night on 60 Minutes, she just keeps saying she's going to tax the rich. Even Bill Whitaker on 60 Minutes is saying, well, we live in the real world. How are you really going to do that?
Well, you don't tax the rich because the rich are going to look. the rich pay most of the tax in the country, first of all. You know, people hate to say it. They hate to hear it. But you take a certain very small percentage, and most of the tax is paid by the rich. But the problem that she has is she's going to the communist method. Take all incentive. And you know what the rich do and the corporations do? They leave the country and they go to another country that's more friendly from a tax standpoint and other standpoints, like a regulation standpoint. Her agenda will bring us in to a 1929-style depression, and it's guaranteed.
All the standpoints from this standpoint and this standpoint. Look, yes, the rich pay most of the taxes in the country. That's because the rich have most of the money in the country. It's a percentage basis, and they pay a far lower percentage of their income, of the revenues they create, than they used to. It started with Ronald Reagan, who slashed taxes. And coincidentally, what also happened when that happened, when he did that, when Republicans set their attention to that? Is there a Jeopardy theme playing? Because the deficits soared. The national debt compounded exponentially. That's when it started. So yeah, the rich do pay most of the taxes because the rich have most of the money. It's basic. It's easy. So to say you don't tax the rich because they have most of the money is just stupid. And most people understand that. That if asking people who are in the top 1%, you'll never be there, I'll never be there, if taxing them at an appropriate amount is tantamount to destroying the country, then sign me up. Sign me up. Now, the interview also obviously veered into election denialism territory because it's Donald Trump, and anytime a microphone's in front of his face, he's going to act like he's the best, the greatest, the most, that everybody votes for him, that he wins states that he clearly did not win and could not win, up to and including California. He has said in the past that if Jesus were counting the votes, hey, Jesus, you counting the votes? It's just right here, so I have to break it up. That if Jesus were counting the votes, he'd win California. And here he says a similar thing, that if we had honest voting, I think I'd win California.
Internal polling shows you +3 in Wisconsin, which, as I see it, is one of the toughest swing states for you to win. You've got a rally in California this weekend, as I understand it. Just your final thoughts.
Well, I heard about that. Wisconsin, they say, is tough, but I won it one time, and I think I did even better the second time. We didn't get the decision, but I will tell you, I think I did a lot better. A lot of bad things happened. I'm going to California. We have a really big one coming up in California, and only because if we had honest voting, I believe I'd win California. I think I'd win a lot of states that we don't win. We have to straighten out our elections, and we have to straighten out a lot of things in our country. But we have to have borders and elections to start.
There is no scenario under which Donald Trump would win California. If Kamala Harris and Tim Walz weren't even on the ballot, Donald Trump would not win California. There would be a write-in campaign, and Donald Trump would lose. That's how far out of step and out of touch with reality he is relative to whether he wins or loses a state. Even there, the talk about Wisconsin, yeah, we won it, and I think we won it again. We didn't get the decision or whatever he said. Like it's a fight and it's an arbitrary decision from a referee. And he's still, third clip, last clip, and then I'll let you go here. He's still rambling and ranting and raving about the wall, claiming that here he says that the Mexican military, he arranged for Mexico to lend us their military for free. It's a new one, and it's new because it didn't happen.
I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I would have built another 200 miles, far more than I said I was going to build, and it worked. And then I got the Mexican government to give us their military free of charge by doing certain things. It's free of charge. We had the best border in the history of our country 4 years ago. And now we have the worst border in the history of the world. No country has ever had a border like this.
They gave us their military free of charge for doing certain things. Very specific. Thank you for the details, Mr. President. Also, I love it. You gotta love it that depending upon the interview he's giving, the wall was either finished and it was completed and it was all done and beautiful, biggest beautiful wall you've ever seen, or he completed hundreds of miles and would have completed 200 more or hundreds more. Which is it? If it's completed, there's no more wall to finish. It's kind of a lot along the lines of more than 100% of the jobs went to illegal immigrants. It's just, math is not his strong suit. You know, it's like finances and business and everything else. You know what is his strong suit? Selling sneakers and watches and light fixtures and vodka and water and wine and Trump universities. Yeah, great at that. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. I invite you to this conversation. You can comment below. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, you can email me as always, daily@dollemore.com. Do remember to subscribe to The Convocation Unscripted. Some great episodes, great topics, stuff that you could bring into your life and educate people about. If you want to help support this work, help me move this conversation forward on an episode-by-episode basis, click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month. You can go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. You can also follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore on Twitter and Instagram and Threads and TikTok and Facebook and Blue Sky and blah, blah, blah. I love and appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.